Berserk, one of the most famous mangas of all time. Came out sometime in the 80s, came out with an anime in the 90s. Not so good. And then we finally got a new one in 2016. It looked like absolute dog water. Let's just say Berserk should have never left the manga. There's no way you can show the absolute depth and artistry of the manga through animation. You could, but it would cost millions of dollars, and I don't think animation studios are looking pretty hot right now for that. We're still waiting for freaking One Punch Man Season 3. I'd rather have that than a Berserk, because honestly, they screw it up. I recently started reading Berserk in the last year or two. It's been a crazy experience. First off, the books are freaking expensive, because I ain't buying no easy little one volumes. I'm buying the deluxe edition, $50 for each book. It's got 3 volumes in each one, and it's massive, because Japanese people have little hands, and I have big, meaty American sausages, and I'd like to hold a book that I can actually read without using a magnifying glass. That came off a little racist. I just thought for a second how much it would cost to buy the entire collection. $50 for each book. There's 14 of them, I think. So that means $50 times 14 equals $700. Oh my god. No wonder not enough people read Berserk. It's freaking fortune just to read it. So, what does it feel like to read Berserk? We've all seen the memes of people reading Berserk and breaking down mentally, but that doesn't really show what it actually feels like. But what do I mean by what does it feel like? It's the different kind of feels that you get from all sorts of genres. Things that make you sad, scared, or for instance, romance anime. It's one of those feel-good shows, and then you realize that it's all fiction, and the only reason you like this is because this kind of situation will never happen in real life, and especially not to you. But what about Berserk? If I was to summarize what it feels like to read Berserk in one word, it would be despair. The world that Berserk is based in is the most heinous, disgusting, deprivable place on planet Earth, filled with tons of grotesque monsters and kid diddlers and people who just straight up don't ask for consent. It's awful. I mean, for Christ's sake. When you open the first page of the manga, you're greeted to him straight up banging a monster. When it comes to the list of characters, we have our main protagonist, Guts. And then we have our other really important character, the fruitcake, other known as Griffith. Then there's Kasuka, the female, and Puck, the annoying character, another fruity character. Why does he always show his ass? There's literally no reason. He has no genitalia. I'm pretty sure it's an it. He, she, they. I think it's a they. It's a thing. It's an it. Very progressive for the 80s, I'd say. It doesn't even have a gender. Why do you keep showing off its ass? Excuse me? Look at this. Look at this guy. Freaking naked. Why? Just give the elf some freaking clothes. Oh my god. I literally turned to just a random page. But. There's a but. See, I told you. Excuse me? Explain what kind of fruity pose this is? What? Another one. But number 3. What the heck? Why? It's literally the focal point of this page. What the actual freak? I read Berserk for the gore, not the fruity elf. You think Guts' character would be kind of annoying, since it's one of those characters you see when people try to make them overly edgy, but he's not. He's right at the cusp of what would be considered overly edgy, that your like cousin made up in their drawing tablet and was like, oh my gosh, check him out. This is Elliot Qualian Tingleton. His parents were both killed and he's the leader of a kingdom, but everyone hates him and he's suicidal. No. Shut up. Born from the corpse of his own mother, he just straight up, his little fetus butt fell out of his mother's womb onto the freaking muddy ground and somehow was still alive. The first time we see Guts, he's all grown up. We don't get his backstory, which is nice because his backstory is freaking long, and I'd rather see what he's all about first. You don't really like him. He's kind of an asshole. He doesn't care if other people get hurt on his journey to defeat Griffith. To him, they're just another stumbling block, and if they get in the way, that's their fault. Plenty of people freaking die in the first 3 volumes of the book because of Guts. But you slowly get to understand what Guts is all about and why he acts his way. Not to say being a jerk all the time to everyone around you is okay for him because of his horrible backstory. It's not, but it gives you a perspective on what he's feeling. And then we see his backstory of this just fearful, angry little guy who slowly grows to want to belong somewhere or have something of his own that he can call his own, which is basically just killing people. That's his thing. That's his shtick. If you couldn't tell, he has a freaking giant sword named Dragon Killer or Dragon what, I don't remember. And then Kasuka, she straight up hates Guts, and then all of a sudden they're doing the little devil's tango, and then they're in love. I'm not selling this at all, but the gradual way it's done and the way they slowly get more and more closer as the book goes on, and then finally into them, you know, loving each other. It's really well done, especially, and Griffith's character is amazing as well. Starts off as this small-time little guy who just wants to, you know, make a name for himself, and he slowly becomes bigger and bigger until it's more than he can chew off, and all of the characters are just really well written, and it seems every single one of them always has to do something with sex. Guts gets raped, Kasuka gets raped, and Griffith does rape. There you have it. It's a circle. It's a triangle. Raped, rapist. I've cracked the code. I'm a freaking god. I hope the audio on this is actually good. Everyone can relate to living in such a crappy world. Not to be a nihilist or anything, but, you know, we've all had crappy days. You failed a test. You got beat up by 5 naked guys. Your girlfriend cheated on you. Can't relate to that one. Guts has been thrown through the slammer. Literally every horrible thing ever done to anyone has been done to him, and he still gets back up. Bro's like, nah, I'd win. Somehow. Near death. Always. Holy crap, that's a lot of boobs. Yeah. Jeez. Wow. This freaking Medusa lady kinda bad though. I think the reason people love Berserk so much is because, first off, the artwork, obviously. Second off, the fact that things get so bad, but Guts still just trudges on. He killed like 100 guys in one battle and just got back up and kept going. It's the determination, I think, that really sells the book. The fact that the entire world is horrible and filled with monsters, and yet through all of the chaos and the corruption of the kingdom and all that, Guts just gets back up, keeps going. It's kind of inspiring almost. Kind of shows what we should do. Even though things are bad, we can still just get back up and keep going. And I mean, there's boobs too, so what can I say? I'm not complaining. Okay, things that you need to like in order to like Berserk. First off, fantasy. Second off, gore. Third off, monsters. Dreams. Kind of deep. And lastly, never giving up, I think. If you like all those things, I think go like Berserk. You give the homeless man a cold chicken nugget and he teaches you the answer to the universe. I hope this looks cool.